Welcome to Cherbourg in northern France. It's 6:30 in the morning and I don't normally get up at this time when I'm on holiday. And while the port is probably best known for being only one of 3 cities the Titanic docked at on its ill-fated maiden voyage, I was here for another event of global significance that happened 32 years later, the D-Day landings. I was here on board the beautiful MSC Virtuosa, and I booked the excursion through the cruise line. The excursion would take 5 hours and cost £104, although that didn't include for any refreshments, not even a bottle of water, so just make sure to bring your own drinks and snacks. There will be 3 stops on our trip. The first at Pointe Du Hoc, a German coastal defence battery, and then we would travel to Omaha Beach itself before finally heading to the Normandy American Cemetery and Memorial. And our guide provided in-depth commentary as we moved between the 3 locations. And soon we arrived at Pointe Du Hoc, which is a promontory with over 110-foot high cliff walls, which due to its location halfway between Omaha Beach and Utah Beach, had been fortified by the Germans as part of their Atlantic Wall. The Allies were aware that there were 6 captured French 155mm guns here, and that the Germans were using forced labour from Czechoslovakia to build a casemates for each of these. However, by D-Day, only 2 of these have been partially completed, which you can still see here today. You can climb to the top of this one, which will then give you a good panoramic view around the whole of the site. And the ground here is covered with craters, which was from the pre-invasion bombing from the sky and from fire support from the ships in the channel. And next I headed up to the observation point, which would have been used by the Germans to help locate the Allied ships to attack. And as you descend down the steps, you can see the firing position on the left-hand side. And this is the view from the very front of the observation point. And on the 6th of June 1944, the Germans would have seen the assault force of 10 landing craft with 225 US Army Rangers on board. And once the Rangers made it to the beach, they had to use rope ladders to climb up the 100-foot high cliff walls. And they were doing this despite being under heavy fire from the Germans above. And by the time they made it to the top of the cliffs, the Rangers had already suffered 15 casualties. And once the bunkers were cleared, they realised that the guns they were looking for had been moved prior to the assault. They found 5 of the 6 guns nearby and destroyed them with thermite grenades. The 6th gun was found elsewhere and is on display at Pointe Du Hoc. And on top of the observation post is now a memorial to the Rangers that fought there that day. And there are also memorial plaques inside the observation bunker. The Rangers were relieved on the 8th of June. By this stage, only 90 of their men were able to bear arms. The second stop on this excursion was at Omaha Beach, which was one of the 5 Operation Overlord beach landing sites. And the primary objective was to establish a beachhead 5 miles inland. The American forces being deployed here were the 29th Infantry Division, 9 companies of the US Army Rangers, and the 1st Infantry Division. Opposing them was the German 352nd Infantry Division. Omaha Beach was the largest of the D-Day assault areas, stretching over 6 miles long. It was also the bloodiest as they met fierce German resistance. By the end of the day, 34,000 troops had landed, although the Americans had suffered 2,400 casualties. And this is the Le Brave sculpture. And it was designed to honour the courage of these men, sons, husbands and fathers, who endangered and often sacrificed their lives in the hope of freeing the French people. This is the Omaha Beach Memorial with inscriptions in both French and English. And the last site we visited was the Normandy American Cemetery and Memorial. Which covers over 170 acres and is located in Colville-sur-Mer. Over 1 million people come here each year to pay their respects to the fallen. At the centre of the memorial is a 22-foot high bronze statue entitled "The Spirit of American Youth Rising from the Waves." And there is an inscription over the arches behind that reads, "This embattled shore, portal for freedom, is forever hallowed by the ideas, the valour and the sacrifices of our fellow countrymen." There are maps and descriptions at either end of the memorial, the first of which depicts the D-Day landing sites. And the second map depicts the military operations across Western Europe. And this is the reflecting pool looking down towards the chapel. And these are the gravestones of the 9,388 servicemen that are buried here. Being here was one of the most moving experiences of my life. It's difficult to imagine what those soldiers were thinking as they landed on those beaches. I then went to the visitor centre to find out more and to check out the displays and exhibits. There was lots to see in here. To be honest, I wish I could have stayed a little longer. One of the things that really struck me was the uniforms they had and all the gear they were carrying. Imagine carrying all this stuff while running up a beach under heavy fire. I have the utmost respect for these men who fought against Nazi tyranny and to free Europe. But overall, I thought this was a great excursion. And I thought it was pretty good value for money too. And now sadly our excursion was over and it was time to head back towards the ship. Many thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so, please consider subscribing.